When you really think about it, there's actually an abundance of inspiration you can take from nowadays. From movies to video games, even from your favorite artists. I mean, look at Bob Ross here. He's just brimming with charisma and inspiration, am I right? But in my opinion, there's one ultimate source of inspiration that you must always look to, and that is the real world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned veteran or just a beginner artist, I can almost guarantee you that if you take inspiration from the real world, it will never fail you. There's always something to be inspired about out there. Let me spice it up a little bit here. Our history, our mythology, and our philosophy, these things are all tied up to what makes us human. This is thousands of years of storytelling that has inspired everyone not just to dream, but also to move and do something about that dream to make it a reality. And to me, there's no greater inspiration than that. Don't you think so? All of the amazing achievements that our forefathers have reached that made our lives a lot easier today, all of the heroes that defied the limits of what a human can do, all of their stories are highly inspiring to me. Their stories have inspired generations after generations, and even in our media, we still take from them. From the Greeks to the Romans to the Japanese and Chinese mythologies and histories, we take from them and inspire new generations from their stories. From the men and women that paved the way to what we are now, we are standing on the shoulders of giants. Oh there, did I just give a speech? In mythology, some of it might be based on fiction like Hercules and Achilles over here. Even though they are fictional, their stories are immortalized in our culture in a very real way. And you know what? Also at the end of this, I'll show you a cheat code, a way for you to actually come up with unlimited unique ideas, okay? Stay tuned for that one. First, let's get into history. This in and of itself is a treasure trove of inspiration. In every era, in every culture, every religion that exists, has their own aesthetics, their own system that govern their world. And the best part is, if you're writing a fictional story, you can mix and match. Mix the Greeks with the Romans, for example. See what kind of culture you can create within your world. Or maybe you can create a steampunk world, but it's set on the medieval era. You see, you can only get these answers through studying history. What sort of contraptions antiquated engineers made. Now let's get into mythology. Yes, I know, these are fantastical stories. But real-world mythologies have real-world ties. There are entire cultures in history that are built around their mythology. There were in fact temples that was dedicated to Zeus, Odin, Jupiter, and Thor, for example. Just to name a few. Cultures that worship Aztec gods and had real-world consequences if you crossed them. What we call mythology now are just religions that people believed in back in the day. Take inspiration from them. What sort of art can you create or stories that you can tell from taking inspiration from our mythology and our human history? Taking inspiration from the real world also makes your art and your stories more relatable. Since like I said, these are human stories, right? It will become a lot easier for your audience to understand what's going on in your story or in your art without any context if you do that. I mean, everybody knows what a dragon is, right? Every single culture in our history has some form of dragon mythology. Without any context, 99.999% of you guys will say this is a dragon, and a small percentage of you guys will say it's a wyvern. It's a dragon, okay? Relax. This benefits your story because you don't have to do much heavy lifting in terms of explaining to your audience what's going on in your story or in your artwork. I actually take advantage of this in my manga, The Final Fortress, link on the description down below. When you see Virgil Village's architecture, for example, you know it's European. Or Inahikiri Plains and its farm, the thatch buildings there are reminiscent of Shirakawa-go's architectures in Japan. So I don't have to explain to my audience what this place is. At a glance, you know exactly what kind of culture I'm representing here. You can also take inspiration from science, engineering, and biology. I mean, take a look at these spaceships right here. These are designed by my favorite artist, Feng Zhu. And obviously, he's taking inspiration from marine life, right? And then just turning them into spaceship. And here's another example where Feng Zhu uses a spider or an arachnid kind of creature to use as an inspiration for his tanks, right? For this mecha vehicle kind of thing. But how do you get to this level of creativity, for example? How do you become as brilliant as Feng Zhu here? Well, according to him, you gotta study the real world above anything else. Earlier, I promised you guys that I would reveal a secret. I've been using this for years now, and it's reliably gotten me through a lot of art blocks. And really, that's just by simply reading a book, okay? It's nothing to it. Because if you read something, even if it's just in your head, you kind of get vivid vision as to what the dialogue is actually talking about. And that vision in your head is uniquely yours. It's something that nobody can steal or see or copy at all. So it's up to you now at that point to actually just draw that, paint that, or write that, whatever, right? So that's a cool trick that I've been using for quite some time. Let me give you an example. I'm going to read an excerpt from The Hobbit, one of the first books that I've read when I was very young. And this was also actually echoed by Feng Zhu in one of his videos. I'll just read it to you as best as I can, okay? This part of the book is actually talking about Smaug the dragon. Later, he used to crawl out of the great gate and come by night to Dale and carry away people, especially maidens, to eat until Dale was ruined and all of the people dead or gone. What goes on there now, I don't know for certain, but I don't suppose anyone lives nearer to the mountain than the far edge of the long lake nowadays. Okay, I did my best to read that, okay? Without having watched the movies, I bet every single one of you, my dear viewers, have some sort of vivid vision as to what that scene actually looks like, right? Your own interpretation as to what the book is telling you. And like I said before, this is uniquely yours, okay? Nobody can copy it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the ultimate source of my power. I mean, the ultimate source of inspiration. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take inspiration from Star Wars or The Lord of the Rings. I mean, I just read you The Hobbit. But what I'm saying is that if you take inspiration from those things, you'll just end up copying something from them, right? But when you take inspiration from the real world, there's a better chance that you're gonna come up with something a lot more original. So I would advise you guys to start reading books, start reading novels. If you don't have the time or luxury to buy a book, that's totally fine. You can also listen to audiobooks and it will totally give you the same amount of inspiration and vivid imagination that I was just talking about. So that's it for me. Before I go though, I would like to thank everyone for 2,000 plus subscribers now. I think we hit that about a few weeks ago and I'm so stoked about that, right? Because it took me the entire year to get to 1,000 subscribers in 2025, and now it's 2026, just halfway through. I'm already in 2,000. I would give you guys a cheer, but I don't have a glass with me. But imaginary cheers. I'll see you all on the road to 3,000 subscribers. Like and follow, guys. Bye bye you.